What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Crypto Catch Up with me, Benny. Now, tonight I wanted to do another review for you all on a project which I've found in the last couple of days, trawling through the interwebs. Now, this project doesn't have a lot of community support around it at the point in time, but that's what I like. I like finding things that don't have a lot of kind of hype going on, not a lot of people shilling it like it's, you know, the next best thing when really it might not be. But something that nonetheless is tackling a huge industry. They have big ambitious plans, and that's certainly something that I'm into. I like to see teams tackling something with blockchain technology and using that as a test bed to come up with something new that is certainly going to change big industry. Now I just want to say, because I've been getting a lot of comments from my seal review, you're being paid, you're doing this. No, I'm not. I do this out of my spare time. I work full-time as an IT systems analyst during the day. I do this at night because I enjoy it, because I enjoy blockchain technology, and I'm very much of the opinion that if I was to ever achieve such status, that I would be transparent with my viewers, unlike some other big wigs you might see around. So please leave the comments out, and especially anything that comes after the review in terms of anything that might be a scam or anything like that. Have a look at when I do my review. If that is not the information present at that point in time, I don't need to hear from you in regards to that. Please take it to a Reddit forum or something like that. I'm here to present what are the facts at the time when I'm doing my review. Thank you. So what we're looking at tonight, guys, is Morpheus Network. Now, what is Morpheus Network? Well, let's have a look and let's get into it. So Morpheus Network is a complete solution, an end-to-end solution for global supply chain logistics. They are going to be automating and optimizing the global trade industry. Now, how are they doing that? Well, they're looking for the inefficiencies that we find in our logistics across borders in today's society. So like I said, it's an all-in-one platform. They'll be utilizing smart contracts for every step of the journey. So if I'm sending something from Australia to another country, all of the invoicing, the documentation, the legalities are going to be covered within this platform. It utilizes ERP, so enterprise resource planning software, and a layered solution. So integrations with other providers, integrations with other blockchains, integrations with large existing privatized businesses, because we want to utilize that, because this is a massive industry. It's not going to be something that changes overnight, and they have recognized that, which is what I'm super, bullish on the fact that they understand the bigger picture, and they're showing that in their work. So it uses a permission system and privacy with ZK snarks. Now, with this permission system, what I mean by this is that when I send something from A to B, well, I only want certain people along that logistical channel to understand what I'm sending, receiving, the documentation that may be required for that. So if we use the example of, for example, flowers from one country to another, well, I might have a purchase invoice, some other documentation around, the items and the packing and all that sort of that jazz. But another country might actually need me to have documentation for that it's, doesn't have any insects in there, that I've filled out the relevant information for the local laws. But I don't want to share that information with everyone. I only want to share that information with the customs officials that I have to, and with the buyer and the seller. So it's going to use this hybrid kind of model of not a completely private blockchain, but not a completely public blockchain, to mitigate the risk of obviously sharing information with others, which is not necessary. Only the people that should see it will see it. So they're looking to use sidechains for document storage. So in logistics, there's a huge amount of paperwork involved. Like I said, all these different purchase orders, inventory, etc., etc., etc. They're looking to use a document storage solution such as Storj, such as KuCoin, as possibly a side chain or a cross-chain capability to be able to store these documents. Or some people want photographic evidence that, you know, this was the product when it was manufactured in China, and that's what you're going to receive when it comes to your doorstep. So they're looking into how they can do that instantaneously and make that document available to everyone, like I said, in that permissioned kind of setting, who should see it in real time. This will allow, you know, these inefficiencies that I talked about a little bit earlier there that they're looking to tackle to be mitigated through such solutions. They are integrating with Microsoft Dynamics, Azure, Shapeshift, Stellar, Swift, FEDEX, and many more. Now I just want to go through each one of those and how that integration applies to this project. So Microsoft Dynamics ERP 365, so that's an enterprise resource planning software package which Morpheus will be utilizing to, I guess, interact with the Swift network, which I'll get to in a second. Azure is your cloud platform. Shapeshift for their ICO or pre-sale that's coming up. They're going to allow you to practically, you know, send a large array of currencies to them, which they will simply convert back to Ether to utilize as it is an Ethereum token. Stellar, because of their instantaneous transactions and also their low cost, which is perfect when we're talking cross-border communications, because that is another one of the inefficiencies which we'll cover off shortly. Swift. Now, why Swift? Well, like I said, is that they've realized that a global institution of all of these large companies across the world, from large Chinese manufacturing companies to DHL and the like, are not just going to simply, you know, click their fingers and change over to accepting a digital currency such as cryptocurrencies. So what they're doing here in the interim is actually partnering, or I should say integrating, take that partnering away. They're integrating with the Swift network, which gives them access to 1,600 plus banks, 200 plus countries worldwide, to allow them to you know, I guess, utilize this Morpheus solution with these manufacturers, distributors, etc. So there is this flawless kind of process which is handled all within the Morpheus network, while also reducing these fees, etc., which we'll soon talk about. They are integrating FedEx's tracking system, so utilizing the smart contract, they're going to be able to see at each point of a item's journey where it is up to with real-time tracking, which is going to be obviously very beneficial for a lot of people who currently don't get to see that level of granularity in their tracking and shipping. So why do we need a global supply chain solution utilizing a blockchain? Well, the global supply chain or the logistics industry is a $15 trillion industry, but it's plagued with inefficiencies like we were harping on a little bit earlier. So you've got that document storage. You know, I create something in Australia on a paper document because I'm an old school business, but then I've got to get that document to somewhere across the world. Do I fax it? Do I scan it? What do I do with it? Well, like I said, this is going to generate it automatically based on the smart contract, put it onto the immutable blockchain and make it available to those who are permissioned to see it. That sounds all right. It will be in sync with the regulations of local authorities. So like I said, if I'm sending something across multiple borders, multiple customs officials and the regulations of that local authority need to be pleased in one way or another. By understanding the journey of a particular product and what is required on every step of that journey, they can embed that into the smart contract. So when something is created, for example, when supplies get low, we then do an automatic re-inventory, spread it out to the distributors of those parts that we may need, and they will generate that documentation automatically. So that is massive in terms of that automation, in terms of getting them documents on time and saving that money that is wasted between getting something ordered and getting it in your hand. That transference of fiat, so bank fees, conversion rates. If I'm sending a product across multiple countries, I have to convert it each time. Now that is a big deal. And so like it says there, in 2016, $2 trillion was effectively wasted in banking fees and in conversion rates that banks impose on the industry as a whole. And there's no immutability. So with current tracking solutions, you have a product that's generated, let's say, in China. You don't know if it's a real product, if it's a fake product, or where it's come from. And that's what Walton Chain and Modem are doing respectively. And like I said, these guys are actually saying, well, yes, Walton Chain is a great product. They're using RFID tags, and Modem are doing the same thing. Why don't we integrate with them to provide this end-to-end solution? So these guys are certainly not going out there as Morpheus Network thinking that they're going to take on the world. They are in complete understanding that it's a massive industry to tackle, but they are looking to integrate with, clever and innovative solutions such as Walton Chain to deliver this package as a whole. And also lastly, that you have that trust in the business partners. So Chinese manufacturers might have been the first time that you've done business with them, and you're not sure of the kind of product that you're going to get. Whereas with this kind of service, like I said, being able to take photos, to know what it is, to know what you should be receiving, it allows you to have that, I guess, trustless relationship moving forward. Now, as a whole, currently they have partnerships with Winjit, which is an Indian company in IoT, AI, and in blockchain space, where actually all of, or mainly all of the 15 developers that are currently assigned to this project are actually being outsourced from to build out this platform. They have recently formed an alliance with BITA, so that stands for Blockchain in Transport Alliance, which is a global network of people who are wanting to, once again, integrate with each other to find the best way to go about this. So that's, an important alliance to have as a company moving forward. And they have a huge list of what they're calling professional experience with. Now that's from IBM to Deloitte, MIT, General Electric, DHL, Chase, Swift, and the list goes on and on and on, which I can show you later. And that's practically because the team that we'll get into has a lot of experience from industry, and that's something for a project like this, which is covering such a broad ground, you want to have. You want to have a team that knows what's going on from the blockchain space, from the logistics space, from legal, from all of those sorts of things. So let's get going and have a look at the tech that is involved. So like I said, it's an end-to-end platform. They have a real-time dashboard which will allow a distributor or the like, manufacturer, etc., to see what's going on, their orders, the countries that they're integrating with, etc., and then the ability to edit smart contracts via that dashboard. So you'll be able to see which ones you have in place and to change the terms and conditions of those in real time in a very simplistic fashion. Like I said earlier, automatic document creation, which saves a ton of time. It's certainly going to be a big win for a lot of companies in that regard to have it at particular points in time, integrating with that FEDEX tracking to go, yes, it's hit point A, point B, point C, we need to create a document here for this country, it needs this legal kind of document, etc., etc., etc. They're looking to build out a full payment system which goes across borders. So like I said, not only utilizing their own token called Morph, but in the meantime utilizing the Swift network to be able to get these companies to be able to transact and slowly migrate onto a digital asset or digital currency based logistical environment. So like I said, it is a permission hybrid blockchain solution, so it is going to be using ZK snarks, which is something that Ethereum uses, which is a zero knowledge proof effectively. So it means that you or I don't have to actually show the information that we have to prove that I am the legitimate owner of something, which is an incredible technology, but it is once again very complex. like I said, layered solution. They're going to integrate with as many different providers or, you know, of technological advancements as possible to build out this platform to make it of value to international, global, you know, domestic partners who need to ship and all of that sort of jazz. Sidechain solution. Now, they haven't actually set in stone how they're going to achieve this as of yet. There is talk in articles, etc., about storage, about Sia chain, so we'll wait further on that. Currently it is a proof of work based, and they're going to be moving to a Byzantine fault tolerance system, which is great, because proof of work, as far as I'm concerned, is not the way of the future. We need to be looking for efficiencies wherever possible. There is no finality in a proof of work really ever, so we need to move something that can achieve that for us, and it is a value-based utility in terms of the token. So there is a reason for the token in this network. It's not just a token for a token's sake and a blockchain for a blockchain's sake, which makes me sick to my stomach when I see them around. So let's just take a quick look at the dashboard. This is a mock-up that they have done. So you can see your orders, you know, visitors of a website, and on the left here you can create your contracts, review them, etc. You know, it is only a MVP or a minimum viable product at the moment, but it gives you an idea of what they're looking to do. And you know, that modular kind of workspace there, it looks like I'd be able to drag and drop some of these things, which I hope to be the case, which makes it a lot easier for, you know, that customization, and hopefully even the ability to put your own skin on there. So if you're DHL, you'd be able to put, you know, your yellow kind of colors, etc. I would expect that as an option in the future. Alright, so let's have a look at the team, because everyone knows that a project is nothing without a good team. Now, why do we have a question mark? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I wasn't going to type in their team when I can go to their website. So let's have a look at their team. Here they are. Now, I actually quite like the fact that they've got these artistic impressions here. So let's enjoy that for a second. So if we scroll over here, Danny Weinberger is the co-founder and CEO. So he has 15 plus years of experience in global trade. His LinkedIn profile is legitimate. It does list all his history there. So please have a look at that. Then you have Noam Appel, who is more so an experienced individual in information security and cybersecurity in web development, which is great to see that contrast between understanding the business use case and also the technology in that executive team. As we go down, you've got your marketing, your blockchain specialists from, you know, a range of people, you know, majority providing their LinkedIn details here, which is good. So you can go through and see. I have actually searched just Morpheus Network as a company on LinkedIn, and you get a huge hits. You know, a lot of people are showing that they're working for this company, and they are all over the world. So this company is based out of Canada. However, there's people all over the world working on this project in unison. Excuse me. Now, the biggest thing of this advisory board is this guy right here, Roger Crook. Now, if you're going into a logistical environment like this, this is the guy you want to have on your team. He is the real deal. So he is a former CEO of DHL from Singapore, Germany, all over the world. This guy knows what it takes to run a business like this. I think they've got an absolute stellar or done a stellar job to get a gentleman like that to assist them. And as we go through, you know, people from all over the world, from legals to architects to Deloitte, etc, etc, etc. Now, if I go up to the top here, it does actually show us, like I said before, that professional experience with, so Deloitte, as we went through a few of them, Amex, etc. So they're not saying that that's their partnerships. Like I said, I really want to iterate that it's their partnership is only currently with Winjit. They have alliances with Bidder, but the rest of these are purely integration partners. So they're integrating with them. That means that they can buy their services, they can use their services as open source, but they are not partnered with them. Let's be clear on that. All right, let's jump back. So let's have a look at the token sale, considering what we've learned so far. So the token sale, like I said, is starting on January 23rd, and it's going to go for 10 days to March 4th. Now, if you sign up for the whitelist, you will actually receive notification 6 hours earlier to be able to go in and get an extra, I believe it's 2% bonus, totaling 14% bonus rather than the 12% like they're showing here. So they're saying here that they've got a soft cap and a hard cap. So the hard cap is 36 million. In total, there's 100 million Morph tokens available. Now 72 million of those are available for you and I investors. The rest are locked up in metrics that we'll have a look at in a very short while. So like it says here, I just wanted to add in some extra detail. So it will be stored in a multi-signature wallet, so it should be safe. It's going to be converted to ETH irrespective of how you pay it. Any of the unsold tokens, however, will be burned, which is great. They're not going to, keep them around for the dev team to keep or anything like that to lower the market later. So that's good. And they're saying that they're going to distribute them to you 28 days after the fact. So if we have a quick look at the there, woohoo, steaming right in. This is a metric to how it's going to be broken up. So you've got 20 million pre-sale, 52 token sale, and like I said, the rest over here are reserved for partners, bounties, founding team, etc. So like I said at the start of the program, I'm not a part of this bounty program. I'm not shilling this on any form of other media. This is purely my opinion only, and it is not financial advice. All right, let's get into some final thoughts here, guys. So I just want to talk through what I see good and bad in this project, and then I'm just going to jump over to the website and go through a few of the things there with you. So the positive here is it has a strong team and its advisors are solid. There is no doubt in the world about that. Their LinkedIn profiles are there. They're using their real names. There is not a scam to be seen in terms of that. It has a real world utility. Yes. The global blockchain. People say that, blockchain technology and logistics go hand in hand, and they do. I love that. It's an impressive laid end-to-end solution. So like I said, they understand that they cannot just come up with a blockchain and it's going to solve all the dramas. It won't. But what they're looking to do is take those integration kind of partners, if you will, and make, interactions where necessary to form that ecosystem which will allow them to provide a solution. I think the integration with Swift is excellent. So a lot of people obviously in the blockchain space don't like that integration with banking partners like Ripple does. However, in this circumstance, this is an intermediary step. It is purely to allow them to build out their platform moving forward, because these companies are simply not just going to jump over to digital assets. That integration with FEDEX, that's great. Like I said, that real-time tracking. And I have heard from the CEO in an interview that the MVP should be ready for that pre-sale, which is awesome. Because we need to see that product. We need to see that kind of tangible nature to really understand what we're investing in. The CEO, like I said, is trying to tackle that solution together. He's not coming saying, yes, we can do it all. I've covered that quite a bit. It's got a low supply, 100 million tokens in this kind of market. There's projects coming out with billions. It's, some have a necessary kind of requirement for that, but majority don't. It's greedy, and there's no need for it. So it's good to see a low supply. And like I said, it's a huge global market, $15 trillion in 2016, and that's only going to get bigger as time goes on. So our opportunity. So this is kind of like what you would say the negatives, but for me, its opportunities are where they can improve upon. It's not a downside, because there might be reasons for certain things, and it's not my place to judge them on that. So for me, however, the long roadmaps are currently they're not planned to go to a global live solution until Q1 2019. It is proof of work based, which I is a personal opinion, don't like as much as some of the proof of stake, delegated proof of stake, and other consensus algorithms that are available. That outsourced devs from Winjit. I just find that when you're outsourcing something like that, you don't get full control over the outcome. You're talking cross-border communications. I personally work for a government organization, and working with IT as an IT person across borders is very difficult. So that can play great into some hands, but a downside into others. So we'll see how that pans out. Like I said, unknown storage or how they're going to achieve that going forward. There's no speak of how fast transactions are going to be processed. So it is an Ethereum ERC20 token. That means currently that it can achieve around 30 transactions a second, with Project Casper coming out later this year and moving to a proof of stake and other plasma and sharding solutions that they're looking at. It will scale out to thousands of transactions a second, but not at the point in time. So that's interesting for me, because I don't know then how they're going to handle large organizations. And this is probably the biggest thing that I don't think a lot of people may understand, is that these big companies that we're talking about here that might utilize Morpheus's network, because Morpheus is saying that they're a complete solution, have existing ERP and supply chain management systems. You're talking about big companies that use SAP, that use Siebel, that use Salesforce, some of the largest companies in tech in the world. Like, they have all got to be top 10. So it would be naive to assume that these companies are just going to jump ship from something they have multi-million-dollar investments in to use a project like this. So hopefully I haven't misconstrued how this is going to be applied, but if it was to be a full integration from a company, that's how I see this working, and that plays on my mind as to how that may work in the short and medium term. The current community support is low, so there's not a lot of talk about this on Twitter, on Reddit, on those sorts of things. I did find this on Bitcoin Talk Forum, which is why I'm wanting to bring it to light. I like to bring these projects, but it is a downside for investors, however, because it means that the project as a whole might not get off the ground, or alternatively, when it does get off the ground, you're left holding bags. It's just a downside in that regard. GitHub doesn't exist. Now, whether that's coming, I haven't seen any reference to that being coming or coming soon in any way, shape or form, so that is an issue. You're talking about a platform here that is utilizing smart contracts virtually every step of the way. I want to see them. I want to read them. I want to know you are achieving this. So hopefully we'll see that coming forward. Token price, a bit high for me. It's 50 cents odd USD. Considering there's 100 million tokens, it's a bit ambitious. I would like to have seen something, more like Ethereum when it came out, closer to that 20-30 cent mark, especially given market conditions at the point in time. But hey, you can't shoot them down for trying. All right, so let's just have a look at the website here, guys, and hopefully you've liked the information I've provided to you so far. So all right, so this is their website. I'm just going to turn off this music. So it goes down here. Like I said, they've signed this guy from DHL. They've got a few videos, and they go through quite a bit of information around their problem that they're trying to solve, and some FYIs and about shipping, etc., and their integrations with these partners like I've talked about earlier. Up the top, you can through and have a look at overview, platform, smart contracts, and why they've picked Ethereum. You might find a lot of people go, why Ethereum over Neo? Who knows? That is completely up to the team and where you get your development experience from. If you're going to get Ethereum Solidity developers, then you're going to go with Ethereum. So I don't see that as a big deal. If we have a quick look at the roadmap here, like I said, it is looking a little bit into the future, but they did, have humble beginnings back in 2016. So this idea hasn't just been, popped off the top of a shelf and said, yeah, let's tackle this. So they've got these partnerships here that they're going along with, etc., etc. And as we go forward, you'll see that. Let's jump over here and just have a look at the white paper. So as a whole, the white paper was fairly basic. It didn't go into a lot of detail around the technical capacity of what they're achieving here. It did focus a lot on the business aspect, which is for a lot of investors, possibly a very good thing. Because I did a seal review recently. People were, up in arms going, this is too complex, blah, 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 blah. The thing is, the words did make sense. However, it was just far too complex for the common layman to understand, and therefore, once more information came out around, scams, etc., people obviously then get even more off-put by it. So as you can see here, they're saying this is Morpheus and comparing it to, private things, and Monether is another blockchain solution. However, it doesn't have that permission transparency. It doesn't do escrow services and that documentation digitization. So here you have just a few screenshots of that platform or that dashboard, like I said, in your smart contracts, and it goes through and explains. Here is probably the best part for people who don't understand the global blockchain environment. It goes through real world scenarios and explains the steps that are involved, even down to the most complex case, which is this one here, like shipping out to multiple parties, etc. So that's really good to understand, to know what you're getting yourself into on why you're buying this. So as you can see here, guys, very limited technical data here. It is very much based off the ERC20 token from Ethereum. Nothing much more to it than that. As you got here, guys, that roadmap again, just in a nice, much nicer format than what we saw earlier. But like I said, this is a global launch we're waiting for back in, in 2019. So still some time to go for that. And then they go through here a bunch of details around business plans, risk management, which I actually find quite, I don't know, it's a bit low level. There's absolutely no reason to explain to me why you are using this kind of information or how you're going to complete your business proposals, because there is not one person in this team that is a project manager. So I just find it contrary, but that's fine. The rest of the project stands out for me. If anything, it shows you that they're actually trying to handle the technical and the business side of it by taking those measures into account. Other than that, guys, like I said, low community support currently, low number of followers. Their Medium does have a few articles there, but not too many. And this is Winjit, which is the company that they have partnered with, who does, like I said, blockchain and fintech. All right, that is the review there, guys. So Morpheus.network, it is coming out. You can whitelist now, Feb 23rd. It will be live for you to partake in that pre-sale. As always, guys, if you can like and subscribe, I'll get another review out for you soon. Thank you.